That Christmas snow fell quietly outside the window, while in the living room, the twinkling lights of the tree cast a glow over the neatly wrapped presents. I opened mine first. It was a cheap book with a cover showing an overweight woman in rumpled pajamas, holding an empty bag of potato chips surrounded by scattered snack wrappers. The title, in bold, Grow Up, Slim Down. A message wrapped in red paper, but the sarcasm hit me straight in the heart. Across the sofa, Amelia, my sister, tore open her gift. Her eyes lit up as she pulled out a thick cream-colored envelope, the airline logo gleaming round-trip tickets to Europe with a voucher for a high-end wellness retreat. To expand your international network, Mum said, her voice like she was handing out a medal. Dad nodded. You deserve this opportunity. And me. Just a 31-year-old preschool teacher with a curvy figure hair thrown up in a quick bun, always dotted with glitter from craft time. In their eyes, I'd never been a real adult, just someone who couldn't control her weight, with a job that lacked prestige and a life that didn't amount to much. But that day, as I flipped through the pages, I didn't just see phony advice. I saw all the times they laughed when I picked a loose dress to hide my waist, all the dinners that turned into unsolicited weight loss counseling, all the ways my efforts were dismissed as obligations. They thought this gift would shame me into changing, but what they didn't know was that it had just lit the fuse for a quiet revenge. And this time I wouldn't just drop pounds, I'd drop the dead weight of a family that took advantage. Before I go on, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know where you're hearing this story from. Because what's coming next will show you what happens when someone's been looked down on for too long. They can become something their family never dares to face. They always say family is a safe harbor. But for me, it felt more like a battlefield, where every meal, every family photo was a subtle attack that cut deep enough to leave scars. I worked full-time as a preschool teacher, and on weekends I organized kids' parties. The job left me covered in paint and glitter, but the kids loved me for real, total opposite of the judgmental stares from my own family. Mum once said, right in front of relatives, her job's cute, but it's basically just playing house. Dad laughed. My oldest daughter's expanding her international connections while my youngest is expanding her crayon box. And of course, my body was always their favorite topic. Every dinner was a free nutrition consultation. Are you sure you need seconds? That dress is a bit tight, Emma. In family photos, I was always suggested to stand behind someone. Sometimes Amelia even sent me links to diet pill ads with a sis. This looks great. Then there was Elodie, Amelia's daughter. When she was born, they called me, just help watch her for 6 months until we get settled. I believed them. 6 months passed, then a year, then 2. My weekends were booked solid, no pay, no thanks, just, you're the family lifesaver. They'd promised to cover gas money, not a dime ever came. But when I hinted, they said Emma family doesn't keep score. What they didn't know was that I'd saved every text from the start. Every promise, every temporary message they sent, all neatly filed away. I hadn't said anything, hadn't fought back. I was just waiting for the right moment. Christmas Eve passed in a thin veil of silence, but inside I'd made up my mind. The next morning, as sunlight slipped through the curtains, I opened my phone and drafted a short, clear, polite message. Starting in January, I won't be able to babysit Elodie regularly on weekends anymore. I love her so much, but I need to focus on my health and work. I'll also stop contributing to your education and travel fund. I hope you understand, and thanks for respecting this decision. I read it 3 times. No exclamation points, no emojis, no passive aggression, no sarcasm, just facts. And before hitting send, I saved a draft in a special folder. I knew things wouldn't stay calm from here. The reaction came faster than I expected. 10 minutes later, a missed call from Amelia, then Mum, then Dad. I didn't pick up. Next came a barrage of texts. Emma, what are you doing? The whole family relies on you. You're being so selfish. We don't turn our backs on each other like this. I've never seen you this cold before. I just stared at the screen, feeling like I was watching artillery fire from afar, noisy, but not touching me. In my head, I had a plan. No arguing, no more explanations. Everything I needed to say was in that message. For Elodie's birthday that year, I found out I wasn't on the guest list via a Facebook post. The photo showed Elodie in a pale pink dress, surrounded by pastel balloons, a 3-tier cake straight out of Pinterest. Below, Amelia and Marcus are beaming. Caption: a perfect day with the most important people. I wasn't tagged. I didn't cry. I planned. The next day, I dug up the saved texts. Me, what if I throw a craft party for Elodie like last year at the community centre? Amelia: sure, just don't make it too over the top. Send me the address. I booked the hall, signed the rental contract, and got 1-day event insurance. I even roped in 2 co-workers to help meet the adult-to-kid ratio rules. No flashy banners, no showing off. Just a pure craft and fairy party full of fun. That day, Elodie wore a paper crown. I'd cut myself rolling with laughter as she sprayed glitter on her dress. We made paper dragons finger-painted and had a puppet that sang. When it ended, she hugged me tight and said, "Auntie, this is my real birthday." I knew that comment would get back to Amelia. And it did, along with some simmering anger. 3 days later, my preschool principal called me in. "Emma," someone called asking, "if you've ever taken kids off site without reporting it." I nodded slowly, not surprised. The next day, I got a voicemail. "We could report this to the police, but we haven't yet. Think about it." A man's voice, no name. I didn't argue. I opened my computer and pulled all the evidence into a folder. Amelia's approval texts, the hall contract insurance receipts, volunteer list, and internal photos with signed consents. Then I wrote an email, "Amelia, since hearing these false rumors, I've gathered all the proof from the event you approved. If the spreading continues, or if my workplace gets more calls like that, I'll consult a lawyer. I love Elodie, but I won't let anyone ruin my reputation." After that email, I braced for another attack. But what came instead were messages of support. My preschool principal called me in not to question, but to say, "Emma, I got another anonymous call. I refuse to engage. And I trust you." It was light as a feather, but enough to show I wasn't alone. A coworker left a box of cookies on my desk with a note. "Not everyone sees it, but we know you did the right thing. Uncle Jack." The only fair relative called his voice gruff and firm. "Emma, I don't care what they're saying. I know you'd never do wrong. Don't let them break you." Then an unexpected text from one of Amelia's friends. Someone I'd met once, I shouldn't say this, but the way they talk about you isn't right. If you need a witness, I'm here. 3 weeks later, I got a white envelope, Amelia's handwriting. Inside, she wrote, I was jealous. It really hurt seeing Elodie happier at your party. I reacted wrong. I crossed the line. You didn't do anything bad. No buts, no excuses. Just an apology. I set the letter down, took a deep breath, and wrote back on a fresh sheet. Sis, I still love Elodie and would be happy to see her, but these boundaries won't change. If we rebuild anything, it has to start with respect. I sent it not expecting a reply. I knew things wouldn't heal overnight. 3 years later, Elodie is 5 with shoulder-length hair, always sprinkled with glitter from craft sessions at Joy Lab, the kids' creative workshop and party business I built from scratch. She still calls me fairy auntie, and when she hugs me, I know no one can sever that bond. Amelia's finished her online masters, now having shelved those far-flung trips and paid off her student loans herself. She's quieter, more grounded. We're not close, but when we meet, it's not a war zone, just a safe distance we both get. Mum and Dad keep their space. No apologies, just occasional texts. We miss the old days, but I don't, because my life now is mine, and for the first time, it's fully my own. Joy Lab started with a few local gigs, then school workshops. Now I've got a 2-month wait list and a part-time assistant named Bree, who's faster at paper dragons and better at negotiating venue rates. I still wear paint-splattered aprons, tell stories in that kid-approved voice, let glitter hit the floor. The difference. No one calls it childish anymore. They call it booked, solid, and successful. Looking back, I realize I didn't just reclaim my time or dignity. I reclaimed the right to define myself. That book, Grow Up, Slim Down, accidentally taught me the biggest lesson growing up isn't about pleasing others. It's deciding who you'll be and not asking permission to be you. If you've ever been belittled for your looks, your job, or who you are, remember boundaries are your shield. Draw them, hold them firm, and don't let anyone erase them. If this story hits home, give it a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell your own story, because here we're building a community that knows its worth. And don't forget to click on the next one. You'll want to hear more of these sweet revenge tales.